Hey everyone, welcome to BaseCamp training. My name is Tim Goss and I'm the lead project director at Church Coach Ministries. Now, as we prepare to launch your campaign, we're going to utilize a really simple project management system, and we're only really going to utilize it as a central hub for communications, scheduling, and documents. Your team is only going to utilize a few areas of the system, so you don't need to be a project management guru. So we're going to get started. You will receive an email from us inviting you to BaseCamp. It will come from either myself or our director, Nicole Malik. Please check your spam or your junk folder if you don't see it. So all you're going to do is simply click on the set up your password to join, and then you'll be taken to the next screen. Now, if you're new to BaseCamp, click make a new login with my email. And if you already have an account, just choose the login option. And the final step is to create your password, confirm it, and click OK, let's go. You can also add a photo here if you'd like. Now that we have you in the system, there's a few options to access BaseCamp. Unlike other systems, the mobile, desktop, and internet platforms are virtually the same. The layout is similar, the functionality is available in all of the platforms, so it really boils down to your personal preference. The mobile app is available for both iPhone and Android. The desktop app is available for Windows and Mac. And you can always access it just by going to basecamp.com through any web browser. If you decide to use the app, this is the icon that you'll be wanting to use. Now that we have you set up and know how to access BaseCamp, let's jump in and look at the system. Once you log in, this is going to be the first screen you see, and we call this the main dashboard. But before we even get started, we're going to talk about notifications. So if you navigate up to the top right corner, you're going to see your abbreviations, or it may have your picture if you included that in the last step. If we click on that, you're going to see turn off notifications or change your notification settings. Obviously, if you turn off notifications, then you won't be notified about anything. It's not something that we recommend. So what we do recommend is coming in and looking at the notification settings. These are the defaults that come when you first log in. You would be notified about everything. So our recommendation is keeping this notification about everything on, at least until you get to the point where those notifications are becoming maybe a little too difficult to maintain. At that point, you can come in and be notified only when someone pings you or mentions you. And we're going to discuss those in a little bit. But in essence, if somebody tags you in the system, then you would be notified. Also, we recommend that you keep the reminders for upcoming events and upcoming assignments, keep those checked. Now, how you're notified is either through email or through notifications, whether it's on your desktop or on your mobile device. I have a personal preference that I get so many emails, I take off my email notifications, but I leave on notifications that will pop up on my phone or on my desktop. But that's just a personal preference. We also recommend that you check show the number of unread items. So by default, it just shows if you get a hey, which is in essence a message, and we're going to go through that in a minute, that it just has a red dot if you have a message. By clicking this, then you're going to see the number of messages that you have. Again, a personal preference, but I like to know if I'm missing one message or am I getting behind and missing 15 messages. Then the last section is when would you be notified? By default, it's always 24/7, 365. If you'd like to change that, you can adjust the schedule accordingly. Just make sure that after you adjust your notifications, hit the Save My Settings. Once you get your notification settings the way you want them, if you hit the home button, that will always take you back to your main dashboard. Now I'm going to spend just a couple of moments kind of walking you through some of the options. Up at the top, you have your main menu, and no matter where you are in the system, you will always have access to these options. But on your main dashboard, you have three other locations. This will be our main portal that goes into your church program. So obviously it won't be called Sample Church. Then we will have your schedule and your assignments. And as we begin to build out and move throughout the campaign, the schedule will fill up and your assignments that you have been tasked to complete will begin to show up here. And I'm going to show you how that works in the system. But where I want to start off is in the main portal of your church. So if you click here, it is going to open up really the details of how we're going to utilize this system. This is the area that you're going to be spending the majority of your time with. But I want to tell you a quick tip. If you ever get lost in the system and you're just not sure where you're at, hit the home button. It will take you back to the main dashboard. You can go back into the church portal, and then you'll be able to find your place. But I want to spend a couple of moments to talk about this particular area because this, again, is going to be where you spend most of your time. In this section right here, you're going to be able to see all of your team members. Obviously, right now, it is myself, and I named myself Babe Ruth because I'm a baseball fan, and Nicole Malik, who really is the creator and the liaison on getting the team set up in BaseCamp. But as we begin to add campaign directors, prayer leaders, and other members of the team, they will show up right here. And there are certain aspects that you can do directly by clicking on them. I can ping Nicole. We're going to talk about what that is here momentarily. I can see her assignments. I can see what Nicole has been up to. So as the team members get added, there's certain things that you can do just by clicking on their name or their abbreviation. The message board is really the primary communication to the whole team. Anything that you put in the message board will be communicated out to everybody, and everybody will be able to see it. The to-dos is just what it sounds like. We're going to start with a list of to-dos for each of the team members. Those to-dos are going to be completed, and other tasks will be added to that throughout the campaign. Documents and files is just like it sounds like. This is where we're going to have a central location for all of our docs and files. Then, of course, our schedule, we will build out the initial piece of that schedule, but as dates change or as we add additional events, then we're going to coordinate everything through the schedule. Now, one of the best places to go as you scroll down will be project activity. This is going to be a place that as something in the system gets done, a file is uploaded, somebody posts something to the message board, it is going to put it as an activity. It's going to be time-stamped, and it's going to show which member posted or did a change. So this is something that if you really want a quick view of what's been going on in the project recently, this is going to be your place that you want to go. Okay, now I want to focus in on the message board. So obviously we don't have any messages right now, so I'm going to choose New Message. And we always recommend that you title the message, else it's going to come across as untitled and nobody's really going to understand what that message has to do with. So imagine we're going to do a team meeting tomorrow. So I'm going to put team meeting tomorrow, 5 p.m. You can make this as long or as detailed as you want. You can format this message any way you want. You can add a file, you can add a link. But down at the bottom is the notification pieces. So the first option is, in essence, you're going to notify everybody on this project. Right now, I only have one other person other than myself on this project. But as we build out your team, then all of those individual team members will be options. So if you just click here, it's going to notify your entire team. You're not going to really use this second option. The third option is if you want to notify specific people. So imagine we had a team of 5 or 6 people. You can just click to notify whoever it is that you want it to. Or you can choose to notify nobody. Now, you can save this as a draft and come back in later, so don't feel like it's got to be finished. If you've got a long message that you need to draft, save it as a draft. I'll show you where you can go pick that up. And then when you're ready, you post the message. Now, I want to show you where all of these postings go. So if I go back to my sample church, you're going to see on my message board, team meeting tomorrow at 5 p.m. So imagine if we didn't have a title, it's going to say untitled. And it's not going to be very clear as to what this message is. Another reason to make sure that you title all of your messages. Not only that, but it will also show up in your project activity. So me, Babe Ruth, added a new message at 3:21 p.m. called Team Meeting. Again, if you don't title your message, it's going to be called Untitled. So very important for clear communication to title all of your messages. A few other things about the message board. If I go in and we see the message that I just created, if I go into that message, and this is for anybody, because remember, anybody can see these messages, there is a place that anybody can comment. So I'm going to show you what it looks like, because this is very important. You're going to be posting messages, and some of those messages you're going to be soliciting feedback from your team. So imagine that I come in and I put in a comment, and I add this comment. What I want you to see is when I go back to my sample church, next to my message board is going to be a blue 1. That indicates somebody has commented on that message. Simply go back into that message and you're going to see the comment. So I wanted to make sure that's explicitly clear on what that blue 1 represents. The other thing that I want to show you is if I needed to make a new message, and I'm just going to title this, "What do you think about this picture?" And just imagine that I uploaded a picture and I just put in here, "What are your thoughts?" And I'm not going to notify anybody, but I'm going to save it as a draft. I want you to know where you can go access your drafts. So the next screen that comes up gives me the chance to post the message now or continue editing. But let's say I get busy and I'm over here and I'm back to home in my main dashboard and I go back into church. Now, where's my draft? The best place to access your draft, you've got two options. You can go to My Stuff, there's my draft. Or if you go into the message board, you will see this, Continue Writing Your Draft. And you can click on it. And then you can adjust any way that you want. Continue editing, you can continue to edit, and then either save it as another draft or you can post it. Now is a good place to talk about pings. Pings are similar to the message board. Just remember the message board is public. Everybody on the team sees it. Pings are, in essence, private texts, if you want to think about it that way. When you click on pings, it's going to ask, start a private chat with. And as soon as you start to type a name, so say I want to ping Nicole. As soon as I start typing it, her name's going to show up and I click on it. And you can add as many people as you want to this ping. So once you get your people that you wanted, click ping. Now, I'm going to give you a tip. At the bottom, it's kind of hard to see, but it's a very narrow writing area. Click on this A and it will expand the box. This works very similar to the message board. You can type in whatever you would like. You can format it and you attach a file. They even have little memes there. And then when you're done, you can post it. What will happen when I post this ping is Nicole is going to get notified. So she's going to get a pop-up notification and or an email notification depending on how she has her notification settings. It will also show up as a hey. We haven't got to this yet, but this is any time you get notified that you are pinged or that you are mentioned or you're tagged, it's going to show up in your hey. Hopefully that makes sense on pings. It's very simple, private message with a smaller group that maybe has a little bit more sensitive information and you don't want to share it on the message board to the whole team. Next, I want to discuss documents and files. So if I click on New, it's going to give me an option to start a new doc. So this is basically creating a document within the system. So I'm going to show you that real quick. Again, we want to title this. So I'm going to title this Team Meeting again and come to our team meeting. It looks very similar to the message board. You can do everything that you could do with it. You can notify anybody. You can save as a draft or you can post this doc. So I'm going to go ahead and post this just so you can see where this goes. Again, you can add comments to this doc. So if I go back to my docs and files, you're going to see a doc that's titled team meeting. Again, if we didn't title this, it would say untitled. You can create a doc within the system. You can also upload files. So upload files works just like any other system. It's going to access your database or your desktop, and you can click on any file that you want and you can upload that file. You can create folders. If I were to name this team meeting folder and I save it, I can take my doc, my team meeting doc that I created, and I can drop it into the folder. So you can do some organization stuff. You can also look at it by list as opposed to icons. You can also edit these anytime you want. So if I come up here and I click edit, I can edit this document. I can save it as a new version. I can discard changes. If I wanted to totally get rid of it, I could put it in the trash. So hopefully that makes sense. Click new, start a new doc if you want to create it in the system, or you can upload files. You can make new folders if you would like. And the last way that you can add a doc is you can drag and drop. So if I move this out of the way and I wanted to add this file to my BaseCamp, I can just drag and drop. And then it's going to ask me a couple of questions. What do I want to name it? Do I need any notes? And it will always ask me if I want to notify anybody. Then I can just post it. And if I go back to my docs and files, you're going to see what I just uploaded. That is docs and files. The last two concepts we are going to discuss are to-dos and the schedule. Earlier in the training, both of these areas were blank. When you first log in to your BaseCamp for your campaign, these will already be preloaded. We at Church Coach Ministries take your custom campaign timeline and we create to-dos and the schedules. So if we go into the to-dos, you're going to see a representative sample. So I've got a media admin team, a prayer team. We would obviously have a campaign director. We'd have a celebration leader. We'd have a stewardship leader. But the point of this is these are all going to be in chronological order following your campaign timeline. What I want to focus on is how do you create new to-dos, new tasks? How do you assign those to team members? And how do you put those onto the schedule? Adding a to-do to an existing list or an existing team is very simple. Just add a to-do, describe or title this to-do, and I'll just call it test to-do. You will want to assign it to a team member, and you can even notify when this task is complete. So maybe the pastor or the campaign director would like to get notified. You can assign a due date. It's not required. So if you did not want to assign one to be no due date, you can assign a specific date, or you can actually run this task over multiple days if you would like. You can add additional notes, or you can attach a file. And then all you do is hit add this to do. And then you're going to see that it's been added right here. You can add as many to-dos as you'd like underneath any teams. Now, if you wanted to create a new list, similar to a new team or a new category, however you want to look at it, all you do is go to new list. We'll call this one campaign brochure process. Add this list. And then if we go back to our to-dos, you're going to see our new category, and then you can continue to add to-dos. As tasks are completed, you simply come in, check the box, and it's going to move that task down to the completed section. But if you make a mistake and need to move it back up, just simply uncheck it. You can go into any task, you can make any modifications that you want. Any modifications or changes will also be recorded down below, and you can also comment on any of those tasks. If you need to remove a task completely, just click on the three dots and put it in the trash. The last section we're going to discuss is the schedule. So when you click into it, it's very simple, very easy to understand. If you click on a specific date that has no blue dots on it, then that means there's nothing that's been scheduled. One blue dot means that there's one to-do item that is scheduled. And if there's multiple blue dots, then you have multiple items. And the beauty of this schedule is you can tie it in to your Google Calendar, your Outlook, or your iCalendar, your iPhone calendar. The list down here at the bottom is interactive. So if you needed to go and look at a specific scheduled item, just come down here and click on it and it will pull up within your to-dos. The calendar is not limited to just to-dos. So if we go back into our schedule and I just wanted to add an event, I can click on any date, add a new event, and it will give you your options very similar to any other calendar. And all you do is fill in the information and post this event. And that really completes the overview of the BaseCamp training. We've gone through the message board, the to-dos, the docs and files, and finally the schedule. So if you remember, if we go back to our home screen that takes us to our main dashboard, when you first log in, this is how I utilize the system. Before I even go into my project BaseCamp, I will come down and look at my specific schedule and my specific assignments, those to-dos that are assigned directly to me. And again, this is all interactive, so if I see something that I need some more additional information on, I just click on it and it will bring me to the section of the system that I need to. And if you get lost and you're not sure exactly where to go, just hit this home button and you can come back into your main portal. Before we end, there's just a few miscellaneous items that I want to go through, and I want to focus on the menu up at the top in the main dashboard. We've discussed home, we've discussed pings. Those are kind of the private messages where you don't want to message the entire team, you want to just discuss with one or two individuals. The hey is in essence a shortcut, and I'm going to show you kind of what that shortcut is. A shortcut to your project activity. As members of the team begin to produce activity and you are tagged in that activity or a to-do is assigned to you, you're going to see the little red numbers or the little red dot next to the hey. So anytime that you click on it, you're going to see all of the notifications for you. Right next to that, you're going to see activity. This is your activity, not the whole project activity. So if I continue to scroll down, you're going to see Babe Ruth next to all of this activity and everything that I've done. All the blue section is interactive, so I can click on it, move into the system where that activity happened. And then my stuff is really just a shortcut to my assignments, my drafts, my recent activity. I know learning a new system can be a little bit overwhelming. Hopefully this training video was a good overview and that you're not overwhelmed. And the whole goal is just to really centralize the communication, centralize the doc and files, and make sure that all the to-dos, that everybody on the team understands what their role is. Let me tell you what this is not. This is not Church Coach Ministries uploading some to-dos in a schedule and then saying, hey, best of luck. It's not the way this works. Jeremy, myself, and Nicole, we're going to be working through this with you intimately throughout your whole campaign. So please, I will be your point of contact. Reach out to me if you have any questions, but we're going to be having so many conversations throughout the campaign that you'll have plenty of opportunity to ask any questions, or I can go over any specific aspect of the software that you just don't know. We are so excited to partner with you on this, excited to see what God has planned. So until next time, God bless, and we'll see you soon.